Alright, I got that fucking Ozark Trail cooler, and we're gonna do an ice test between the YETI, Ozark Trail, Magellan, and we had this piece of shit laying around. It's Coleman Xtreme, so we're gonna see how it does. They're all pretty filled with ice. I mean, they're to the top, as you can see. Magellan, I think this is a 52. It's the same shit as the YETI and the Ozark Trail. It's not we're not leaving them outside or nothing, because it's about $1,000 worth of cooler. We don't want nobody walking off with this shit. And I know you're supposed to do a fucking pre-chill or whatever, but I ain't ever in my life done a pre-chill, and I ain't ever in my life gonna do a fucking pre-chill. So that's about as real world as we're gonna get. That one's not full. But these four, YETI 65, Ozark Trail 52, Magellan 52, and this Coleman Xtreme I think is 72. We'll see how the ice does. I know that the YETI's supposed to last for at least 5 days, and all these other ones claim the same. We'll see how that goes. I don't really care that much about ice retention, mostly about fucking bears. And I don't really need ice that long. All I do, I'm not an outdoor deep sea fucking fisherman or nothing. I'm just a guy who likes getting drunk in the woods, riding four-wheelers, and staying out all day on the fucking lake. So we'll see. No pre-cool, none of that fucking shit. I'm not a fucking myth buster, so we'll see how it does. We'll check it every day about 9 o'clock or so, and we'll see how far we get. Alright, it's day 2 of our cooler test, and right away, I haven't opened up any of these yet. Right away you can see the Magellan and the Ozark Trail were leaking a little bit. Now these haven't been used ever before, so that was a little bit fault of our own. The drain plugs weren't tied or weren't screwed on all the way. The YETI did not leak, and the Coleman had one little drop of it. I'm assuming that's from condensation more than anything. But the Ozark Trail and the Magellan leaked just a little bit, and the drains are not screwed all the way in, so our fault. Alright, here's the YETI, and it's still good to go. That's how much ice is left. Oops, I fucking dropped one. I want an unfair test. The Ozark Trail, Wal-Mart fucking special here. The Magellan, still doing good too. And the Coleman Xtreme. Fucking broke ass lid. Definitely not freaking bear proof. Yogi Bear, get you some of these waters. Alright, I posted a thing on Instagram yesterday saying that we were doing this. Everybody's like, where's the Arctic and the Grizzly and the Pelican and the Orca and every other fancy cooler under the sun? I ain't got that kind of money. These are coolers that people I work with own. So we figured we'd do a test, and that's it. And we ain't Mythbusters, so ain't nothing freaking special about this test. We're in a aircraft hangar. It's not air conditioning, but it is in the shade. But it is fucking Texas outside. So it's about high 80s at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's hot in here. All right, day 3 of our test. It's what is it? I think it's like after 9 a little bit. These latches are just open, so I don't struggle with them on camera. Just before I open them, you can see that the Ozark Trail has condensation coming out of the drain plug. The Magellan has condensation coming out of the drain plug. The Coleman has just that drop, just barely any. And YETI has none. Can you see that? It's got none. All right. YETI still full of ice. Well, it's gone down a little bit, but not much, but it's still pretty solid. Still doing pretty good. Ozark Trail, still doing pretty good. I can see a little bit of water in there. You can see down in there a little bit. The Magellan is kind of the same way as the Ozark Trail. You can see a little bit of water. And the good old fucking Coleman. It's about the same. You can see a little water. Now this one had double. I think this is a 73 or 75 quart or something. But it had a lot more area. It was filled to the top though. But there is water starting to show. Biggest challenge I've seen about this ice cooler challenge isn't keeping the ice. It is keeping everybody from keeping their dick skinners off this damn coolers. Everybody's texting me, calling me, wanting to come out and check it out. They don't want to listen. They don't want to wait for the video. Well, too dang. All right, it's day 4 of the insane cooler test. And right away, the Ozark Trail is leaking. I don't want to say like a sieve, but it's fucking leaking all the way. You can see the water coming all the way down here. I haven't opened these up yet, so I don't know what's inside. The Coleman still has just that one little drop. The Magellan has a little drop right there. And the YETI, I'm assuming, is dry. All that water is from Ozark Trail. The YETI's half ice, half water. Still lots of ice in there though. And it's gone down about halfway. Same with the Ozark Trail. Half ice, half water. Still a big ass chunk of ice in there though. And it's, as you would guess, ice fucking cold. Same with the Magellan. Lots of ice. There's a huge block ice in there. Half ice, half water. And still pretty full. And the Coleman is about the same. A little bit more water than ice. So, yeah. Coleman's still doing alright though, for how cheap it is. That's it. That's day 4. Kind of upset because that's my fucking cooler. The Ozark Trail is leaking everywhere. But that is after 4 days of being out here. And we're not outside. Again, I can't say that enough. We're not outside, but we are in a hangar, and it's hot as fuck outside. And afternoon, the sun beats directly down on these coolers. but still irritated that the Ozark Trail is leaking. All right, it's day 5 of this cooler test, and it's about 96 degrees outside. And again, this is not air conditioned garage hanger. It's hot as hell outside. For a couple hours a day, the sun beats right down on these coolers. These aren't in direct sunlight all day long, but I can't stress enough that it's hot in here. Let's see. The Ozark Trail is still leaking, and I don't know. I mean, you could probably do something to reset that O-ring or something. That's the thinnest part of the cooler, and it's a giant freaking hole, basically. I haven't opened these up yet on day 5, but if you look, you can still see the trail that comes from the Ozark Trail. The Magellan, it's just got a little bitty drop down there. Same with the Coleman, and that's probably condensation. Ozark Trail is the cheapest. Well, I guess it's $150. That one's probably the cheapest. All right, let's open these up, see how they're doing on day 5. Still got some ice in there. I want to say that it's mostly water now in the YETI. This one is the YETI. Ozark Trail, same thing. Ice, lots of water, plenty of ice. Still ice cold, that's for dang sure. The Magellan, still going good too. Same, all over. All of them about the same thing. And the Coleman Xtreme, still, I'm most impressed with this one here. I have one of these at the house, and look at that big old chunk of ice still in there, man. I got one of these at the house, and I knew it would do good, and I would have never ever bought a cooler, a fucking bear-proof one, if the Coleman had latches on it. I think that's the best bang for the buck right there. But if you got bear threats or mountain lion threats or velociraptor threats or anything that's going to get into your cooler, it might not be for you. Magellan from Academy, it's about 200 bucks. I think that Coleman is under 75 bucks, and that's a bigger cooler. The Ozark Trail is 160 from Wal-Mart, and YETI, well, everybody knows YETI is about $9,000. I'm pretty sure when Moses came down, he stuck the 10 Commandments in it, and if you didn't operate it, if you didn't open it properly, you'd probably burn your face off, like fucking Ark of the Covenant or something. I don't know. YETI's too fucking expensive for anything. I don't care how bear proof and Arctic it is and whatever else it fucking does. It's too much goddamn money for a cooler. Alright, it's day 6, it's Saturday morning, about 9:30 or so. We started this test at about Monday morning. Here we go, let's take a look. YETI, still got plenty of ice. Lots of water. Ozark Trail, no ice. Just ice cold water. This motherfucker here holds its Magellan, a little bit of ice, water, slightly less than the YETI. Coleman, ice and water. That's 6 days. This is everybody's already seen the YETI results and shit. They know how good it is. But this one, Ozark Trail, That sucks, man. There's no ice in it. The Coleman beat the Ozark Trail. So I think that I'm gonna return this thing. I'm sure it leaking had something to do with it. The last thing I wanted to do was to see how watertight the 3 of these were. YETI. Pretty good. Not bad. See that? Just a little bit. Ozark Trail. About the same. Magellan, I think this thing's gonna be just good, because this thing's hard to open. The Magellan, they're tight, man. It's hard to open. I'm not even gonna bother with this one. The lid's already broken. It doesn't have any clamps on it, or clamps on it. So there you have it. I think that concludes the test. YETI held ice the longest out of these 4. The Coleman, though, it did pretty dang good. Sort of the Magellan, that Ozark Trail, I'm pretty sure I'm going to return it. I did not reach in here 20 times a day. This is done at my work, so I ain't got time to do all that shit. I'm sure some peckerhead's going to get on there and say it's not a practical test because I didn't reach in there 20 times a day. But that peckerhead's ideal real world test and my ideal real world test are probably 2 different fucking things, so you can comment whatever you want to. It ain't gonna change the fact that everybody's real world test is a little bit different. It's hot as hell in this hangar. I want to say they all kept ice for 5 days. The YETI, I would say it was a clear winner, and I think though the Coleman did pretty dang good for ice retention anyhow. Magellan's pretty good. That Ozark Trail, I'd get a YETI or of course I'd get a YETI. I can't afford a fucking YETI. But an Arctic, a Gator Box, there's all sorts of new coolers that are cheaper than a YETI and probably better than that. So there you have it. I might do we found a guy with an Arctic at work, so we might do an Arctic versus YETI, but we'll see how that goes. Thanks for watching. Don't buy that. Well, you know what? Buy it if you want. I don't care.